Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is David Novak. I would like to read to you a couple of pieces about poets or about the poet as a cultural figure. The first one is, or was in its day, quite well known by Søren Kierkegaard. It is from his book Either Or, which, believe it or not, I cannot find my copy. I believe the passage which I will read comes from Volume 1 and almost within the first page or two of Volume 1. I just pulled a text down from the internet because I could not find my copy. What is a poet? An unhappy man who in his heart harbors a deep anguish, but whose lips are so fashioned that the moans and cries which pass over them are transformed into ravishing music. His fate is like that of the unfortunate victims whom the tyrant Phalaris imprisoned in a brazen bull and slowly tortured over a steady fire. Their cries could not reach the tyrant's ears so as to strike terror into his heart. When they reached his ears, they sounded like sweet music. And men crowd about the poet and say to him, "Sing for us soon again," which is as much as to say, "May new sufferings torment your soul, but may your lips be fashioned as before. For the cries would only distress us, but the music is delightful." And the critics come forward and say, "That is perfectly done, just as it should be according to the rules of aesthetics." Now it is understood that a critic resembles a poet to a hare. He only lacks the anguish in his heart and the music upon his lips. I tell you, I would rather be a swineherd understood by the swine than a poet understood by men. That has always struck me as a delightful passage. I wish that somebody would make an anthology of all of the similar descriptions of the poet that can be found throughout literature. I always notice them when I find them, but unfortunately, I do not have a very good memory, and so most of them, excuse me, are lost. I'm losing my voice a little bit. But one which I recall with great fondness is in Montesquieu's Persian letters, and I will read that one to you as well. I no longer recall the context. One fellow is showing another fellow, so it's a little bit in the form of a conversation here. If I am not being a nuisance, tell me who that is opposite us, so badly dressed, who sometimes makes faces and talks in a different style from other people, who lacks wit to talk with, but talks so as to seem witty. That is a poet, he said, the buffoon of the human race. His kind of people say that they are born what they are, which is true, and it is what they will remain all their life, namely the most ridiculous of men, almost without exception. Consequently, they are shown no mercy. Contempt is heaped upon them unstintingly. Starvation brought this one to the house, and he is well treated by the master and mistress, whose kindness never fails towards anyone. He wrote a wedding ode when they were married, which was the best thing he ever did in his life, for their marriage has turned out to be as happy as he predicted. Those are just two of my favorite descriptions of the poet as a cultural figure. If you can think of any others that you remember, please let me know in the comments. But I know it's not the usual thing for people to take note of that sort of thing. I would love to see, there was the tag going around for books that you would like to see that do not exist. I would like to see an anthology chock full of such descriptions. It unfortunately would take somebody who was extremely well read with a perfect memory to assimilate and put together, which may be a second word for the same thing, to recall and assemble all of those stories as they were. And people with that kind of erudition and whatnot generally are not in the business of providing anthologies for the likes of somebody like me. So I will leave that there. Thank you very much for stopping by my channel.